Hello and welcome to my first spell video. This one is actually I'm covering technically two in one. Um this one is about bonding Trinity, bonding of a coven and breaking of a coven. Bounding of a coven and breaking of a coven. Then again, most people really won't need this, but I was gonna put a slide with the spell I use to bond my coven, but it's too long to fit in the clip video and it won't let me do it, so I'm just going to put a link to my Book of Shadows site in the info bar down below, so you can just go there and read it along with the other spells I'm going to be doing videos on. So, yeah. Bonding of a Trinity. Keep calling it Trinity because that's what we call our coven, Trinity of Magic. Bonding of a coven. It's not like what you see in TV. You don't necessarily have to do it, but it's more of like an initiation thing. I mean, when you start a coven, you just say a spell or some sort of ceremony to put you all together in a way, to bond one another. It's not like in like the Secret Circle, you can't do magic alone. Even in a coven, some people still do their solo magic that they do, but everyone does some big things they do together. A coven that I knew of where I used to live actually only came together for holidays. Otherwise, most of the time they were apart. They really didn't do much together. Some of them knew each other outside of their little coven and all that, but most of the time they really didn't speak or hang out. So, when it comes to the coven, you can use any spells. I wrote my own, obviously, and my own has the names of the coven in it. When you make a coven, you usually need... See, I made sure when I made the spell to bond it, I also made a spell to break the coven completely, as well as a spell to just remove somebody from the coven. Like if one person. And surprisingly, I've had to use it. I was originally just what's what I'm looking for? A precaution, but who knew it become reality? What else? Well, what else? Well, when it comes to bonding, first of all, if you're going to do it, make sure your coven will stay together. My coven, it had its issues. So before you do something like that, make sure you're all in agreement and that everyone is committed to it. When it comes to kicking someone out, I found that there are two ways to do so. As I found a couple spells, I was actually going to put one in here, but then I was like, that one won't work. There's one just kicking someone out, just basically unconnecting them to the rest of you. And then there's one that unconnects them to the rest of you and, well, I wouldn't say banishing, but it's also a binding. It binds them from you, binds the magic. Well, first of all, if you're going to bind somebody, make sure it's an absolute necessity. I mean, it has to be done. I'm going to do a spell video later on a spell I found in the book that's it's only I can really describe this as a badass banishing spell. It's very elaborate, and from what I've seen, very potent. So, yeah. Anything else I can say on that? Nothing else I can say on that one, really. Just make sure it's like, should be a last resort. If nothing else can be done to fix it. And, what else? Also, when it comes to disbanding a coven, which, actually, that usually isn't needed unless the entire coven's, like, fighting or something. that one's another thing. Everyone's really gotta be more of an agreement. I mean, my original Coven, we never actually used the spell that was completely separated us. We never used it to begin with, and we kept getting brought back together because we never really did it. Because I don't know, we just kept being drawn back to each other. I mean, we were all thinking the same things. I mean, it was funny. One night I sat up at night because I really kept thinking, remembering the days when we were hung out together and they were fun. And I got a call from my friend Eric, who was with my cousin Josh, the other members of the Coven, all three of us together. Said that they were just reminiscing about the same thing, and I was like, I was just thinking the same thing. So actually, connecting actually does more than what you think. Me and my friends had actually a bit of a strong connection to begin with, but we had a stronger one after so. Anyway, so when you do bond a Coven, make sure everyone's in agreement, and make sure it's something you really want to do. 2. Make sure you have your own rules and that. I made a video of things to do know before making a Coven and all that. Let's see, what else? 3. When you making the spell, make sure you just see it's not like it's going to be needed. Just for precaution, make a spells to remove just one person from it if need be. Break the entire thing apart if need be. And sometimes binding spell is a good thing to know. Make sure it's a binding spell to bind the magic, not binding them to somebody. There's a difference between the two. I learned that later. And when you're making a spell to kick someone out of the Coven, you can call it a banishing. I mean, I've got a banishing, but it's for a different reason. When I do a video on it, I'll explain. Until then, that's what I gotta say. This video is not my first, so there's no shock that it's not gonna be that well thought out. But in the information bar below, I do have the thing to go to my site. I actually only have 2 my spells on there when it comes to the Coven. It's called Forming and Breaking the Trinity on there, however, because that was my Coven's name. You could probably use my spells, but you'd have to rewrite them because obviously your names aren't the same as ours. Mine was a bit elaborate because I'm just elaborate. So anyway, till next time, enjoy.